Welcome to the Thriving Misfits, the podcast where we celebrate resilience, embrace diversity, and challenge norms. I'm your host, Fiona Young, and today we are joined by JaneRose, a strategic consultant and thriving misfit in the world of business transformation. Join us as we explore JaneRose's mission to declutter businesses, craft clear messaging, and streamline operations while embracing her unique journey as a misfit entrepreneur. Get ready for a dynamic conversation packed with insights, inspiration, and actionable strategies for thriving as a misfit in today's business landscape. Fun fact, JaneRose and I, we met in 2020 during the pandemic, in the beginning of the pandemic, in fact, where you were organizing a Millennial Conference in Kenya. And I was so excited about it because a year before that, in 2019, I was able to climb Kilimanjaro and I fell in love with Tanzania. So JaneRose, it was great that you connected with me, and now 4 years later, we're still in touch. So that's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Fiona. It's amazing reconnecting with you again. I mean, we've been in conversation. It's very unbelievable how, the world of everything, just the internet of everything just makes people meet up and just come together for different things. So thank you so much for hosting me on your podcast. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So let's kick it off with some rapid fire round questions. So the first one is, if you could invite three historical figures from diverse backgrounds for dinner, who would they be and why?
So that's a very interesting question. So I think the three I would quickly think about inviting over dinner is Nelson Mandela. First of all, his leadership style, his resilience, and his dedication to, social justice and equality has always inspired me. His ability to even just go further, to be able to forgive and, reconcile with people after years of imprisonment and being able to still have the power to unify a nation is just some level of humanity and strength that he had. So I would love to hear his thoughts on leadership and perseverance and his vision, for a united society. Another person I'd love to have dinner with is Wangari Maathai. She was a Kenyan environment, activist and women rights activist as well. She was the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize. So I would love to sit with her and get to understand, what was empowered her to go into community empowerment, changing the mindsets of people on taking care of the environment, what pushed her to do the green belt movement she used to have, and just talk about what environmental stewardship looks like. And I think the last person would be Marie Curie. Her groundbreaking work in physics and science, especially at a time that women were looked at as people who are meant to be, just taking care of homes and things like that. And just getting to see like how her innovations, on something like radioactivity that has brought so many improvements. What was her story of determination? Like, I'd love to understand that and just get to understand how did it feel to be the first, woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize and also the person to win two of them, in different fields, and what she would think about, the future of science and innovation.
Wow. I mean, those are really amazing guests. Would love to have them as well over dinner. Now, the other question is, what's the most unexpected cultural tradition or customs that you have encountered during one of your travels or even interactions with diverse communities?
I think one of the most interesting one was the tradition or the philosophy of Ubuntu when I visited South Africa, which is a very interesting tradition that gets to emphasize about humanity and, being interconnected. I think in today's world, as the world of haste is making us miss on that. So it's a philosophy that gets to encourage individuals to, show compassion, show empathy, some unselfishness, sharing, and respect towards others. regardless of their backgrounds or your circumstances. And this is something I really love this tradition as well, because it's something that also Nelson Mandela spoke about. He spoke about Ubuntu, meaning you should be able to address yourself to a level that you're able to enable the community around you, which I think is a very powerful, philosophy that we need to carry in everything that we get to do, and get to be involved in.
Wow, that's really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. Definitely something that I haven't come across. So always learning something new. Thanks so much. Now, as I mentioned already, we met each other virtually in 2020. You invited me to speak at a Millennial Conference that you planned to organize. Why was that so important to you? I know the pandemic kind of like didn't make it happen, but why was that so important to you, and what sparked the idea of hosting a Millennial Conference?
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you so much. It was the best thing to have ever met you and connected with you, because I mean, after that, we've had an amazing journey. I mean, that's a story for another day. But I think for me, there's some very important reasons that I decided to, put that conference together. I think from a perspective of me being in that space, and also just interacting with different millennials and just seeing there was gaps of where millennials were in that space. They felt there was challenges or issues they were going through, and they didn't have like a space that felt safe to talk about those things, and feeling not judged or getting the right people to be able to address them. There was a lot of generational gaps, and a lot of um, people having stereotypes and myths about different gaps, and people not being able to work together. So for me, that was one of the reasons I was trying to put the conference, creating a safe haven that people can get mentorship, people can get to network, people can get to have knowledge sharing, they can be able to find inspiration and share their stories. And I got to invite you because at the place that you were at and still are at, you were having an experience of talking about diversity and inclusivity, which was something that many people and the different generations needed to understand, so that they're able to blend that in their professional and personal lives.
Wow, that's so great. I mean, what a big idea. And I hope, is it something that you're still kind of pursuing to make it happen?
Yes, I'd love to. I just think the reason why I'm still in the space of now carving it out, because as you can see, there's now the growth of the Gen Z,
Yeah.
and a lot of conversations have changed. There's a lot of course, technological advancement, and there's so much change. I think when the COVID pandemic came, there was a lot of quick shifts in so many things, and I've been trying to put that together and look at everything so that we can just get to create, that safe haven that different
Mm,
generations are able to have conversations, be heard, and get to understand each other. So yes, it's something that I'd want to do, but there's a lot of, going back to the drawing board to just look at,
absolutely.
having everybody included.
Absolutely. I think these days we need to talk much more about Gen Z. Like millennials are already, that's like an old story, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Now, you and similar to me, we're both women in a very traditional male-dominated field, right? In consulting. What challenges have you faced, and how have they helped you to shape your approach to leadership and running your business?
All right. I think maybe I talk majorly about two of them. So one has been, so I'll talk on the perspective of, I think, consulting and also running businesses.
Hmm.
So one of the things, two of the things I faced. So one is gender and age bias and stereotyping, that being one of the things that I've often, faced, where I found myself having to work twice as hard or three times as hard to prove my capabilities, and in certain rooms be able to gain the same level of respect as my male counterparts. So,
Mhm.
and through my journey, because I think for me, I even started the entrepreneurship journey while I was young, so this has made me to be more empathetic and inclusive as a leader. So striving to create an environment where everyone feels, valued and heard despite, regardless of the gender, and to make it a point to, like recognize and leverage on the strengths and the perspective of, every individual. And another thing is just the balancing of being assertive and approachable, where, women most of the time were unfairly labeled as you're either too soft or too aggressive. And this has made me to learn to embrace my authentic self, lead with confidence, but just prioritize clear and open communication and, being firm yet very fair.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, and I think it's really embracing our femininity, right? We don't have to be like our male counterparts. We can be our own authentic selves and lead and run our own businesses.
Yes, yes,
Great.
yes.
So how do you leverage your gender identity also as a strength in your professional endeavors?
So I think as you have already spoken, that perspective of femininity. Some of the qualities associated to that are empathy and, a bit of emotional intelligence. So I tend to leverage on this traits in my interactions with like my team and, my clients or our clients and different stakeholders by just being able to listen actively and be able to understand and embrace the diverse perspectives and, ideas of the different people and being able to always demonstrate empathy so that I'm able to build on stronger relationship and foster more of a culture of trust and people getting to understand that we are doing this together, we are collaborating rather than looking like, are we competing or, a space that starts bringing a bit of resistance. And I think also another thing is just it now getting to, I know that I'm a woman, I get to feel like it gives me some source of resilience and determination to refuse to be defined by my gender or
Hmm.
whatever stereotypes that are based on my gender and just get to channel that energy in overcoming barriers and just showing that we can succeed in always and just show also other younger people and children that you can get to do this.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. Really being that role model. Fantastic. Now, you as an entrepreneur, having your own business, you also get to hire people. So how do you actively promote gender equity within your company and the company's culture?
All right. So I think mostly for, I'm trying to just summarize them. So for us, equal opportunities and fair treatment is very, very important. And I think it just starts with, for me, who's the business owner and putting it down to the rest of the team, getting to understand that we ensure that all individuals, regardless of their age, have equal opportunities of employment. Because for our companies, we are privileged to be able to give permanent positions, contractual positions, and casual positions. So, regardless of gender, we get to give equal opportunities for employment. People who are permanently employed, we give equal opportunities of advancement and recognition within the company. So, this is from the beginning, fair hiring practices, making sure there is equal pay for equal work, and offering, equitable benefits and
Mm.
opportunities for development, and also just ensuring that there's diverse and inclusive also the practices that we do for recruiting there's diversity and inclusivity in them, making sure we are hiring people, irrespective of where it is they come from. We will have women, we will have minorities, we will have people from underrepresented groups, making sure that we have a diverse team and we're able to, take the different perspectives that those different people come with. Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. And this is how it should be. Now, I'm sure that there must be also some sort of resistance and challenge, maybe not internally, but maybe externally from stakeholders, from customers, from vendors. Have you ever faced those resistance and what kind of strategies do you have to overcome them?
So I just think some of them is, of course, now being open to taking in the diverse groups. You could encounter a client that feels, has a myth or a stereotype about a certain group that you've decided to bring in. And
Mm.
of course, with the current state, there's, the diversification of inclusivity is very different right now. So for the clients or the different stakeholders, I am usually very intentional on telling them that we are creating a culture of respect. We are fostering inclusivity and, also accountability within the organization. We're trying to promote, mutual respect. We have policies in our company that we have zero tolerance for discrimination or harassment of any kind, for which for us, even if you're a client, we do respect all our clients. We do respect all our, suppliers and all that kind of thing. But the zero tolerance for discrimination or harassment that we have of any kind picks us to a level that we could, with all due respect, drop certain clients or suppliers because of that. Because where will these people, if we all have stereotypes of this, where are these people going to find the opportunities to share their perspective, to share their skills, to share their experiences if we don't start it from us? So for me, I'm very particular on that. And we get to that level of, making sure it's that way, and also, pushing to and, ensure we have feedback as well from, the employees and also the stakeholders, and just getting to show them the value that it carries for having these people. Because I also ask clients, if you had not seen this person and you had a conversation with them over the phone, on audio, and they shared the same things, would you have taken the strategies? And they said yes. So I'm like, that is how you should look at it, without, whatever it is that the person has decided to describe themselves as. Yes.
And that just shows your integrity, because again, sometimes we're trying to please our clients, to, go all out for them, but this shows your integrity, that you stay true to your values, even though it's maybe a tough decision to make, to drop a client.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, we have a lot of listeners and viewers who feel and identify as a misfit. What kind of advice would you give these individuals so that we can help them to embrace their uniqueness and also to feel empowered that they are different?
Yeah, I think first of all is I tell them to take the time to know yourself. Take the time to understand who are you, what do you value, and what sets you apart. Embracing your strengths and your quirks and your passion will put you at a level that you're able to use them as a fuel to propel yourself. Then from your, when you get to know yourself, you get to be very authentic with yourself. Then set authentic goals that will define your success, and goals aligned with the values and the aspirations that you have. Another thing I tell people is embrace your failure as growth. Failure is natural. It always happens in, different perspectives. I mean, even this podcast that we're having, you could find a hitch here because of internet, or, because of people coming from different places in the world. I mean, it could be pronunciation or whatever, but it's just the natural part of learning. Always look at setbacks as opportunities for growth, because you learn something, and just fuel it with resilience and determination to keep going. Then step out of your comfort zone, seek out support and mentorship, get a group of individuals or a community that believes in you and your potential, and then always embrace lifelong learning. Stay curious, stay committed to learning from your professional perspective, from your personal perspective. Then I think be resilient, and then believe in yourself. It all starts from yourself, your ability to create the life that you desire, because you're the person that knows what you desire. Then from that aura that you remove from what you believe in, then other people are able to start believing in you. And then always find your tribe, right? Like-minded individuals, your family, your friends, the right friends, the right community to just always have your back, because you'll have moments that you need your tribe.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, really, without all these setbacks, without all the challenges and adversities that we face in life, we would never be able to grow, because we would always stay stagnant, right? And I know in that moment, it's probably really painful as an individual. We all go through that. But I think it's just that belief and that trust that going through these challenges, at the end of the day, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And also, that's how we grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So, last but not least, I'm sure you have some sort of mantra or piece of wisdom that has inspired you. has inspired your journey to empowerment. So could you share that with us?
Peace mantra. I think for me, of course, there's a bit of different ones to just keep you going. But I think for me, the most important one is embrace the journey and trust the process. This mantra or philosophy or, quote just reminds me to embrace every step of the journey, including the challenges, the setbacks. There is moment of, you're not sure if this is going to work out or not. It always encourages me to trust the process of growth and the transformation, and knowing that each experience that I go through, whether positive or negative, contributes to my personal and professional development in some sort. And the fact that I decided to pick the journey, I'm better off than somebody who has not, started the journey completely. And it means that I'm usually fully present and fully engaged in the moment rather than, fixing my mind on the destination. I more so appreciate the lessons, the insights, the growth, and I start trusting the process and having faith in myself and knowing that the path I've chosen, even if sometimes it just feels very scary or unclear, it encourages me to know, the abilities, the resilience that I have to face the challenges keeps me going and knowing that there's great things coming. Yeah.
Wow. And this resonates with me so much because when you said step by step, it always reminds me of my climb to Kilimanjaro, to the summit, where we say pole pole, right? Slow, slow.
Yes, pole pole,
and is step by step. We don't need to jump steps ahead of time. It's just really trusting that process. And it doesn't always have to be in a rapid way. So step by step. And for me, it's also that it just reminds me when I was climbing the mountain, because everything just hurts. And you've been summiting for like 6 days already without showering, sleeping on the floor, and for me, it was also about trusting that this too shall pass. All the challenges that we go through, they will pass. Nothing is permanent in life, whether the negative aspects or the positive aspects. So it's really embracing the negative ones to see whether we can learn from them. And then for the positive ones, really to embrace them and to really, immerse ourselves and be present in that moment, because those happy moments aren't going to be permanent either.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh, it's always great to speak to you, JaneRose, and thank you so much. Yes, so that concludes our enlightening conversation with JaneRose, a strategic consultant and passionate advocate for business transformation. From uncovering the beauty of decluttering businesses to fostering gender equity in entrepreneurship, JaneRose has shared invaluable insights today and really inspired me and hopefully you as well. So as we wrap up, remember that embracing our uniqueness and striving for empowerment are key ingredients to success in both our personal and professional lives. So join us next time for more engaging discussions and empowering stories on the Thriving Misfits podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow us. So until then, stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep on thriving.